shit, and vice versa. If not, you kind of self-sabotage relationship. I promise you that. And that's the shit. You don't want to do that to a relationship. But that's why you should both fall back working yourself. Anyone that you see that you're doing it, or your family, friends, they're body hopping, relationship after relationship, they don't need to take breaks. That person is broken, codependent, and they're scared to be alone. People like that, do not get involved with them. Friends and associates, hold the hand, guidance, give them advice, yes. But don't have them as a partner, because they're going to be body hopping every which way. They probably haven't got over the ex-wife, so they'll do triangulation. If you don't know what triangulation is when they get, scenario. I haven't got over my ex-wives, right? I jumped the relationship right away. I played, active role victim, good old soft story, some ex this, my child trauma, all that great jazz, right? So then person, she's empathetic wife. She wants to love me, give me whatever my ex didn't give me, all the good shit, right? But the thing is, if I let my ex go, potentially I'll fall back to my ex-wife if she gives me a chance, or fall back, grow like my ex-wife. Let's say she's narcissistic wise. So I'm used to toxic love. I'm not used to love. So with that said, to everybody, you got to be ready for relationships. If not, you're going to do triangulations, go back to your ex, or mess around. Or you get scared. It's not you, it's me. I shouldn't have gotten in a relationship, and you fall back, right? You break it off. Or you do cheat. Because, you're not used to a healthy relationship. You're not used to love, and that's the shit. You got to be ready for the relationship. If not, then don't get involved. Or, if you cheat in general-wise, you're body hopping, put your damn pride and ego where your narcissist straight the bass out of you and say, check out, I don't do relationships. I do poly, open swinging, friend and fair relationships. I can't be in a monogamous relationship because I can't stay loyal, trusted to one person. I've tried many, many times and I keep failing. I keep falling to lust. But the reason why you fall to lust, especially boys, because more narcissistic wise, the answer is you have no self-will. That's it, no self-will. Remember that. Females typically cheat. Why? Because they spiritually, emotionally, mentally checked out. She gave me 1,000 chances. She's not giving me 1,001. So I got to cheat on her 1,000 times, right? So I'd be fucked up on, and she'll give me 1,000 chances, but she's not going to be 1,001. So that's when she's, once again, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, she checked out. She cheats, right? Because she confidence for somebody else wise, and us, men, quote unquote, boys, we fucking died. It hurts hella bad. And they only did it one time, a mistake, quote unquote. But guess what? That mistake it's very hurtful. That's why you got to be very cautious. When you decide to cheat on somebody, if the guy or girl is narcissistic wise, you gotta be careful, because remember, everyone's got BPD, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. Everyone's got NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. If that's not true, two simple questions I always ask everybody, tell everybody: why are you in feelings? Why do you do petty ass words? Why do you do reactive abuse? If you don't know reactive abuse on my neck, that's when you become verbally or potentially physically abusive with somebody or yourself, an animal, whatever situation is. That's called reactive abuse, because you're triggered by petty ass words, environment, emotions. If you can't control them, then you're not a bad person. But when you flash, quote unquote, your BPD empathy kicks out, everyone looks at you crazy and shit. Why do you think your partner tests you all the time? If you're square, empathetic, to the fullest, loving, respectful wise, you're good. But then your partners that test you in barbecues, birthday parties and shit, right? Because why? That's the person you laid down with. That's the person you exchange energy with wise. So they know how to trigger you with petty words, give you a look. The look says fuck you, not verbally. Eye contact. They you know that look, what it means, because y'all, that's the look they give you when y'all bumping heads, right? So now they're triggering you at a birthday party, whatever public scene that is wise, and then you pop off, and then remember this: you've been telling all your family and friends that your partner is crazy, mistreats you, all that verbally and physically abusive, all this shit, right? And then, but there's no really proof other than obviously verbalizing what's going on, but you're the one that actually. Because it triggered you, because remember, us men are more narcissistic wise, they will do that. They will test you. And when they trigger you and you're throwing shit at them, being verbally abusive, we're doing reactive abuse, and potentially physically, you start throwing whatever cake at them, whatever situation is. Now everyone looks at you, you're the crazy one, and your partner's the fucking victim, and they smile on your face, like, you see? You can't win. So you gotta be very cautious with that. That's why you get your work on yourself, because if not, you're gonna be in toxic relationships for many years to be. And remember, the longer you're an individual, the breakup's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt, and that's why a lot of people they don't give up on the situation, because our pride and ego, our narcissist traits. Well, I'll still stay here because the kids' religion, culture, and to say that I didn't cheat. Like, okay, but the relationship is shit and garbage. Yeah, have you heard of co-parenting? Like my first baby mom, Latina, Caracas, Venezuela, raised in New York, but she's de la calle. She's straight from the streets. I pray she's doing better, but. If she's not, I wouldn't be surprised, because for the most part, people from the hood ghettos, they stay like that till the shit 40, 50, 60 years old. which is definitely the choice, you know? So that's why I learned from that situation. And as an individual, I say I want arrow with, like in Spanish, de la calle. In English, a person from the street mentality wise. I won't be with any female, by my side as a partner, no. Friends and associate, yeah, we can talk and vibe, but she can be from the ghetto hoods. That's about it. But not as, I don't care if she likes me, oh, that's cool, you love my energy, awesome. I'll hold your hand, guide you, I'll teach you about life, every which way, about relationships. So you work on yourself, but I'm way too much for you. And on top of the analogy, you can leave the hood, but the hood leave you. That's the question. If the hood didn't leave you, you're narcissistic, kicking hard, because that's the most broken people in the universe are from the ghetto hoods. Any part of the universe, I promise you that. If I want to do benefits, right? Or if I want to get a relationship right now as you speak, where would I go? Why would I go to the suburbs where females actually work on themselves? They actually have conversation, more extroverts, right? Go to the ghettos, go to the ghetto hoods, like in Seattle. I've been gone to Seattle like 10 years now, right? I can go today, downtown Seattle, the south side, all of the south side. I don't give a shit, white, yellow, purple. For the most part, it's the ghetto hoods, right? Yes, you have United Saviors. Yeah, that's the little suburbs and the ghettos. What to do? Drive 5 minutes away from the nice, rent and highlands, nice parts of Federal Can't set otherwise, back to the hood. So with that said, they're broken codependent. They're used to toxic love. So if I'm having this conversation with them, fuck, these females, from the ghetto hoods wise, I'm going to get their attention. The downfall, they're not ready for me. I'm way too much for them. And the downfall is they're still in the ghetto hoods. Their friends could trigger them. Family could trigger them. People with bumping heads could trigger them. As an individual, I can tell you, with my first baby mom, they're like, to the fullest. Those are disciples. That's why I use analogy to trigger them. Why I said, you're the devil disciple. Yes, because you're no good. You're not even good to yourself. Your pride never kicks in. People in the street, the mentality is what? YOLO, you don't live once. Blue pillars. Red pillars, no. You live every day, you only die once. So with that said, that's why I say what I say to the fullest. And that's why girls from the ghetto hoods in my DMs getting feelings about it. I go, yo, queen, you're not an overall bad person, but it's your environment. If you don't work on yourself, you will be like that for many years. You're going to point a finger at everybody, your exes, your father, your parents, they weren't there. Do that. Say that, and as an individual to trigger you, that's just excuses in life. Like, if you want to, shut up. I do free therapy, life coach. I promote my shit all day, every day. I don't charge for this. If you want to donate to the cause, cool. Because in my head, I'm already famous. Joe Rogan status, because I just do strictly repo talk. I don't give a shit about Blue Pill talk, which I'm going to get tagged on my